Hey guys, thanks so much for having me. I'm just going to share my screen here so I can pull up my slides. Go. And you can see that, yes?
Beautifully.
Cool. Okay, so my name is Matthew Smith. I'm one of the co-founders of DivDot, and we digitize business payments, or we make business payments move. So I'm sure some of you have probably had to write a check or accepted a check in today's world, which seems kind of crazy. So you're not alone. There's about 667 million checks processed every year in Canada and about 14.5 billion checks processed every year in the US. So this is still a massive problem. And about 2/3 or more of those are commercial payments or checks. So what do? We are one software powering a business payments operation. So our customers can send payments to suppliers. They can receive payments from customers. They can also move money between their own bank accounts at different financial institutions. So for those of you who have ever written yourself a check, we solve for that. You can also set up recurring payments with your customers. So that could be like a subscription, a large subscription, or something like that. So I'll give you a quick live demo just so you can see what the product is like. And of course, live demoing is always dangerous, but we're going to do it anyway. So right now I'm in the product. So I have a test company called HC Accounts, and I'm just in my transactions. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a receivable, a custom payment link that I'm going to include in an invoice that my customer can then pay. So for my transactions, I'll just hit new. I'm going to create a receivables link, and then I'm going to enter in the amount. So let's say it's 17,500. And I'm going to select the bank account that I want the money into. Let's put it into my RBC account. And then I'll customize the bank statement description so it's easy for me to reconcile later. So I'll do like invoice 1, 2, 3, 4, and I can add some notes for my customer. Hey, thanks for paying. And I'll add a smiley face just for fun. And the customer, let's say it's a business, and I'll just create that link. And so now I've just generated this custom payment link, and I can copy this. And if I go back to my transactions, it's going to show up here as an unpaid transaction. So here's the 17,000. If I go view payment details, I can see the details of this payment. And I can copy the link again if I want to. So I'm going to open a new tab. So imagine we've taken this link and we put it in the invoice, and then the customer clicks this link to pay. So when the customer clicks this link, they're going to come to my branded checkout page. So it says HC Accounts has requested a one-time payment of 17,500 through DivDot Payments. So just click Get Started. And I need to provide authorization. So I can log in with my bank, or I can enter my routing information for my bank. So I'll just select Login Online. And if I want, I can also, as I said, enter my routing information. So just use the login online. So I'm going to use the test account, Flinks Capital. I'm sure we're all familiar with Flinks in the fintech space. So it wants to access my account number. So let's just do the login. What's the best? Okay, Canada. And then it's going to display a list of my bank accounts that I can select to pay from. We'll select this one with 50,000, continue. Bank connection complete, next step. So now I'm going to agree to the pre-authorized debit conditions. So I'm agreeing to be debited a one-time payment of 17,500. So click I agree, next step. I'm just going to confirm my email address so that I can get a receipt. Next, and now I'm just going to confirm that this is all correct. Okay, pay. So just authorizing with the bank, and of course we simulated this to take as long as Flinks takes sometimes. Here we go, success. So I can close this page now, and I've received a receipt. So let's just go check that receipt. So in my email here, I've received this receipt. So this is from the customer's perspective, and they have a copy of their pre-authorized debit agreement attached. I've got a couple of these. There we go. And if we go back to our dashboard, let's just refresh here. I can see that this transaction's been initiated. I'm waiting for bank settlement. It gives me an estimated deposit date, gives me information about the customer. So here's the customer that's paid. And it gives me a nice timeline to see where it's going on with my money as it's moving into my account. Now I can also send payments to customers. So to send a payment, I need to add a supplier. So I need to collect routing information from that supplier. So I'll just go to Contacts, and I'll go to Suppliers, and I'll click New Supplier. So I'm just going to add a supplier. All I need is their email and a name. And let's call this new supplier. So go invite supplier. So now the supplier's received an email and I've generated a code that I'm going to give to the supplier in some other way. So I'll just copy that and we can see here, here's this new supplier they're pending. If I click these three dots and view the details, I can see the information. If they didn't receive the email, I can resend the email. I can copy the code again if I need to. So I'll go back to my email. We'll just see here that here's this supplier invite. So HD Accounts has invited me to be a supplier. I'll say accept contact request, and it's just open this page here. So HD Accounts is requested to pay you through DivDot payment. So the supplier only needs to do this once when they're authorizing their account. So they'll enter in this code, then they can authorize their bank. And of course, we've seen this step before. So I'll just quickly do this, authorize. And hopefully Flinks doesn't break during my demo. Triangle. And I'm going to select the bank account that I want to receive funds into. Continue. Bank connection complete. Next. And then I'll say, OK, authorize account. Great. So now I've authorized my account to receive payments. The company is going to get a notification. And if I refresh here, we can see that this supplier is now authorized to receive payments. There's the bank account they've added. I can invite them to add another bank account if I want to. Now, if I go back to transactions, I can go new, payable, send money. And I can say, I'm going to send them 56,400. And I'm going to select the bank account I want to send the money from. I can customize the bank statement. So let's say this is a bill payment 1234. And then I can see here's the supplier I've added, best supplier, agree to the terms and conditions, and send payment. So I've just shown you two of the features of just collecting payment from a customer and sending money to a supplier. We also allow you to move money between your own bank accounts at different institutions. So I'm just going to quickly go back. Let's go back here. So how are we doing this? We built an in-house banking engine that translates the EFT system into a REST API with webhooks. So at every level, we're using our own technology that we built in-house. So we have a web application, an API, and then a payment engine that integrates into the banking system. Our current performance, so we launched September 2019, and really we ran a beta between September and February. And then in about March, we launched our sending money feature. And then since March, we've seen a significant uptick in customers. One thing that's really significant is that 25% of our current customers received money from another company before signing up. So we're three technical founders, and we're actually a team of 7 people now. But our 3 core founders are myself, James Davidson, and Nick Addison. We're all computer scientists from the University of Victoria. So our goal in the long run is to create a simple and secure payments network for businesses to exchange funds in Canada and the US. And I'm happy to answer any questions that the judges will probably have.
All right, I'll jump right in. Matthew, great presentation. A couple of things kind of come to mind when I'm looking at that. Do you see yourself as complementary? Most of the small businesses that would be potentially using the system are using Intuit or Backpack or some kind of accounting system. You can generate your invoices, but to do the peer-to-peer payment, the banks are kind of, they're hooked into those systems. I'm just trying to figure how you fit in that. And, you kind of gave me the impression that you were offline because you're in your system, then I log in through Flinks, but where's my accounting system for my business sitting?
Yeah, so we're definitely not an accounting system. I mean, our customers would be using QuickBooks or Xero.
No, I get that, but I'm giving you some feedback on the demo about how that integrates into your existing accounting system. So perhaps,
okay, yeah. So
where I'd want to see you maybe start in Intuit and then move into how you link in that payment. I assume you don't have any direct links today, that it's a separate app that you go in and open.
You bring up a great question. So in terms of reconciliation, most of our customers would have a bank feed set up inside of their QuickBooks application. Yes. And all of the transactions, so we don't batch any payments. So let's say I did 10 payments in one go, all those payments are going to show up individually in their bank feed. So when they're going to reconcile these transactions, they're going to see that customized bank statement description, and they're just going to click match, right? So in their bank feed, they're just clicking match, match, match for those payments. We're in the process of developing direct integrations that will support larger businesses to, say, do 100 payments at a time.
Yeah, I think that's an important point to add to your demo. The other one is authorization, like who's authorized to make the payment. And in most cases, even in small business, it's the owner, and maybe there's the kind of chief revenue collector who's doing that. So I don't know if you support multiple different areas, but you didn't talk about that in the demo, just kind of to overcome that concern, especially today regarding compliance, et cetera. So I think that's a little bit more feedback on that part.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the dual approvals is definitely on our roadmap for sure.
Other than that, very nice demo. Christian, je m'excuse, taking up, hand it
No,
over to
no,
you.
you're asking great questions. In fact, I really want to dig into your first one because you bring up a great point, which is, in a typical small business, an invoice comes in, gets shuffled around, and eventually initially gets entered into the accounting system first before any payments are ever distributed. So, in that typical workflow, how is the operator of the DivDot account pulling those the payables out of the accounting system?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think it would be unfair to say that every business is entering into the accounting system first. I think most big businesses do enter it into their accounting system. Currently, we don't have any direct integrations into those accounting systems. So let's say I get an invoice from one of my suppliers. I'm gonna, either pay it, and let's say if I pay it directly by logging into DivDot, then I'm gonna see that show up in my bank feed, and I'm gonna go, oh, okay, here's this bill. Oh crap, I need to find that and enter it in. Right. So most of our customers right now are these small construction companies, and the way that they're collecting and paying their bills is going to be from a very owner operator perspective.
Yeah, I think
so. Yeah.
Right. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that speaks to I think in who your target audience is, because if you're talking about other fintechs, for example, they're going to probably be at one end of the extreme in terms of sophistication. Yeah. I mean, they're probably actually not even receiving invoices. They're probably using a service like Receipt Bank to handle all of invoices and receipts, and that just goes straight into. Now, on the other end of the spectrum, my guess is, I don't want to be derogatory toward the construction industry, but my guess is they're not as technically savvy.
They're not. No.
So I think it's a useful piece of feedback to go. Here's a segment of the market that we're coming after. And this is, here is the characteristics of our audience, and they're not entering those systems into accounting. They're literally grabbing the invoice right out of the mail and just paying it directly on DivDot. I think that's a useful. It takes you 10 seconds to say that, but it says a whole lot about who your target audience is.
Yeah, no, you're definitely right there, Christian. Thank you.
And I think on that, you highlight in terms of the market, I think 600 million checks or something of that written. I think you have to kind of play to the element of how you're growing, because right now you're focused as an end user platform. So you're out competing for head share in the same way as, if you had a distribution channel with Intuit or any RackPack or any of the other kind of core financial systems, then that would give me the impression that there's good scale. But when you're in a demo, you're trying to upsell with the client, right, and make them feel better. Or, I've got a partnership with the Construction Consortia of Canada, and this is how we're driving it forward, very focused in that area. But the other one, I think you kind of took a stab at Flinks there as part of your demo. So I was trying to figure, it didn't make me feel strong on saying, I hope Flinks works as part of this. So just trying to figure, is Flinks the only way that you're kind of going through in there when you're doing a demo, or?
So I did, when I was doing the demo, I did show that customers can manually enter their routing information as well.
Okay.
So they have the two options of either using Flinks to connect their bank or doing the manual entry.
I'm giving them full credit and then some for doing a live demo. I mean, you don't see that very often anymore for a whole variety of reasons. And you get extra credit in my mind for running a live demo, and go kudos to you. And it worked. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it works all the time. Yeah, I was holding my breath there. I was like, oh shit, live demo. We'll see how this goes. But no, it's pretty reliable, and I think trying to push credit on us as three software engineers who built this, and we're a year. If you can think about how far we are into this, we were just about to hit a year into being launched, and have already made significant strides. And obviously over the next year, we'll push even farther. And those features that you're talking about, like integrations into QuickBooks and Xero and a lot of that automation piece, you know, from the customer feedback that we've received is those are features that we're working on to support larger businesses with accounting departments and things like that. And I think a lot of what's happened is that these small businesses where they're owner operated have been kind of forgotten about. And that's actually where we started and where we wanted to build our base on. And of course, eventually supporting those integrations into accounting software so that we can enable those construction companies that aren't organized to be more organized, right? So when they see those integrations in our system, they can go, oh, wow, I can actually connect this and do my processes better.
Yeah, I think we forget that. I mean, we're in the fintech space and we think of companies being very tech savvy and they're you know, constantly updating their books, but there's a whole class, and I think this really fits well with your client base. There's a whole group of businesses out there that do their reconciliation once a year, right? And that tax time, that's it. The rest of the time, they don't. There's no accounting software. It's download your bank statements, use an Excel spreadsheet, hand all the receipts and invoices over to the accountant, and let them, you know, do a big reconciliation at the end of the year, produce tax for, you know, tax, and that's it. And so, of course, they're going to be paying invoices, but they're sure as hell not going to be doing it through their accounting software because they don't have one.
And you're absolutely right. And I mean, if you look at the stats, I think it's about 70% of businesses still use checks in Canada. So you can think about all the businesses that even though there are solutions, maybe you could compare them to DivDot, but if they've been around for say 5-6 years, why is it that these 70% of businesses are still not adopting these online technologies? And I think part of it is because there's a major focus on talking to accountants and how accountants want to solve the problem. And when you talk to these actual individual business owners, they have a very different idea of how to solve the problem than what the accountant wants. And so when we built this, we mostly spoke to business owners, took the feedback from accountants, but tried to play this more towards the owner operator.
I just want to congratulate you. I understand this is your first startup, and I think you're kind of fresh out of school. So congratulations to the team. I think you put together, first of all, a great pitch, great demo. I think I would add in the sense to the market that you're catering to. In a business, you know, cash flow is king. So that ability to move your cash flow forward in a much quicker way. I get the 600 million in checks, but that's not the market that you're catering to. You're catering to the business owner that says, I want to get paid as fast as possible. And today that can take anywhere from 30 to 60 days based on their rather rudimentary processes and check being in the mail and everything else. So, you know, that's the real kind of pitch point in your demo that would get me excited as a business owner.
Okay, thanks, Elizabeth. I appreciate that. And just for the record, I haven't graduated yet, so not really out of school.